So we are lucky to have with us today Valerie Tornini. She did a degree of biology at the University of Duke in Durham, North Carolina, and after that she did a PhD with Ken Ross studying the clonal analysis of the zebrafish fin regeneration blastema. And from 2017 she's working with Antonio Giraldes at Yale University School of Medicine. And she was awarded with the K99 R0 awardee that will allow her to establish her own independent lab. So thank you so much for being here with us. And I forgot to mention, she has several grants and awards during her scientific career, and she's also involved in several activities of diversity and outreach, such as Científico Latino or Skype a Scientist. So now again, thank you so much for being here with us today. So can you please tell us the subject of your research?
Sure. Very briefly, I'm a developmental biologist by training, and my lab is interested in understanding the gene regulation of how cell identity is established in vertebrate systems, and how that can go differently in different manipulations or different disruptions.
Very, very interesting. So when did you know that you wanted to become a scientist?
I knew when I was very little, I first wanted to be an archaeologist or paleontologist and then scientist. I think just from watching TV, like the scientists wanting to cure cancer and HIV at the time. And I just stayed with it, honestly. I had a lot of support throughout, and here I am.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and how did you pick your lines of research?
Yeah, the lines of research I think are luck and opportunity. So in the US, we do rotation systems. I was interested in developmental biology, even though I did not, at the time, I didn't really know what that was. I just kind of fell into it. And then, I just started working first in a little bit of leukemia research, and then in regeneration, tissue regeneration, and then going back in development, so redevelopment and then development. And that's where I am now.
That's very interesting. So during your career, you were always involved in diversity and outreach activities. How did that influence your research?
Yeah, so throughout my career, I think also out of necessity from my own experiences, I've been involved in outreach, but also working with people to increase representation in science and access to science and a career in science. And I'll talk a little bit about it in my talk, but I think it is inseparable, cannot be separated from the science. The people who do the science are the reason the science exists. And so being able to maximize who can do that and what ideas are represented definitely changes what the outcomes are for the better, I think. Also
establish a network, right, of scientists, because that way you probably meet a lot of people that in another way you wouldn't, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's so cool. You were about to start your independent lab. Did you have any mentors that helped you through the way?
I've had many mentors, advisors, advocates, and they all play their different roles. I think I've learned really great. So my postdoctoral mentor has been a phenomenal mentor for me. And I'll mention another one who's been more of an advocate and informal mentor has been Valentina Greco, who just learning how to work with people, which I think is the hardest part of any job, and especially in science, and how to treat people and work with people.
Yeah, it's a really hard task.
Yeah, so I've been privileged to have exceptional mentorship throughout.
Really nice. So from your training, what would you like to take to your brand new lab and to your team?
So research-wise, so I'll continue on the lines of work that I'll mention, that I mentioned before, and I think truly the main thing is the importance of people and mentorship, and that the people are the most important part of the science, and without them, science is not done. So taking that as a whole, that concept as a whole with me, I think is going to be the most important part.
Really, really nice. So what the the difficult question. What is a broad question that you would like to answer in your scientific career?
Yeah. So long-term vision, I would love to really understand basic principles of gene regulation, what that means for establishing and maintaining cell types, and how that kind of has evolved across evolution, and what eventually that could mean for potential therapies or really understanding our own biology. So very broadly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of work to do.
Lots of questions, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the interesting part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool, thank you.